Hey guys, wherever you guys may be listening to this, maybe you're on one of my other YouTube channels, maybe you're here on Final Frontier News. I don't know. But we're talking about Star Trek Discovery. Okay, so Star Trek Discovery, I'm late on reviewing this because I just watched it 2:50 in the morning on the East Coast. And last we left off, and of course there are going to be spoilers here. Last we left off, though, I believed where they left off that we were going to be in the mirror universe. It felt like it. I said it out loud, like, oh my god, they're going to be in the mirror universe. And I kind of said it a little bit as a joke in a way, but it felt like it with the destruction and where they came out, it was like, oh, they're going to be in the mirror universe and it's going to be crazy. But in my mind, I was like, no way, because this Star Trek is already violent and crazy enough, but then again, it would be perfect for it. And I didn't think I liked that at all. I thought when they came, I thought I was going to watch this episode tonight, and if that was the case, I was probably going to laugh. But instead, I found myself being insanely intrigued. And this is bizarre because I've been very, very critical of Star Trek Discovery. Like you guys know, I've been really critical of Discovery, and there's a lot of things I still don't like. And I know that most Star Treks series take time to get into it, like, and it gets better. You know, I mean, even TNG, the first episode was a little bit militarized in a way. It wasn't like this at all, but you know what I mean? Picard was very like, you know, I'm the captain of the Enterprise, and you know, it was very regimented, like the military seeming, and it was different. And then it loosened up, and the characters developed, and the writing got better. So I have to tell you though, tonight, this was one of my more favorite episodes, and part of it could be because of the backstory. They literally tied in a bunch of stuff to the dark universe or the mirror universe that we know. Especially Enterprise. There were so many references, and of course them finding the Defiant, all this stuff. If you watched Mirror Darkly episodes part 1 and 2 from Enterprise, you can see how many things tied in to all these and references they had even in the original series. I am a gigantic Star Trek fan, but I will say there's a good thing, there's good news and bad news that I'm going to tell you guys about myself. And the good news and bad news is, the good news is I'm a Star Trek fan, and I've watched TNG, Enterprise in the original series multiple times, TNG probably 40 times, Enterprise multiple times, but I've actually never seen an entire season of Deep Space Nine, which is crazy to think, but I actually like, because I've still got something I can go watch, and in case this stuff goes south. But Discovery, getting back to Discovery, the tie-ins were so awesome. Like, there's so many different things. I enjoyed that. I know that that was cheap. It was a low, cheap move by CBS and whoever wrote everything. I know Jonathan Frakes directed it, which you could kind of tell some of the time. But you know, some people said you could definitely tell. Like, I don't know how you could definitely tell, but maybe you could. But I thought this was one of their better episodes, and I usually don't like Mirror Universe. In fact, I hate it usually. I remember when Enterprise had their part 1 and part 2 of the Mirror Universe, I said, oh my god, they're doing the Mirror Universe. Oh god. And I seen Scott Bakula in the original outfit, and I kind of got excited about that. I was like, that's pretty cool. But you had to wait for part 2 to see that, and it's like a throwaway. You know, that universe doesn't really matter. So I knew Enterprise's time was done. That we're watching the last 5 or 6 episodes ever of Star Trek Enterprise, and I was angry about that. And there were 2 Mirror Universe episodes, and I just thought, like, what a waste. You're wasting the last few episodes. So it's always been a waste. But now, in tonight's Star Trek, in Discovery, they get beamed, or not beamed, but they using their jumping device that they use, and I'm not going to get too technical with you because I'm so tired I forget the names of shit. But the bottom line is they get transported by accident to an alternate universe, to a parallel universe, and they're in the Mirror Universe. So we're seeing for the first time, I think, unless something happened in Deep Space Nine that I don't know about, which is possible, and I didn't research it because I don't care, I'm just being honest with you, we're seeing a point of view of, or at least to me, I'm seeing So I apologize to the Deep Space Nine fans who might be screaming at me like, you moron! That could be possible. But I'm 33 and I've watched Star Trek since I was little, and somehow I've never watched all of Deep Space Nine. But we're seeing the point of view of the actual cast, or rather the actual crew going into the mirror universe and experiencing their reaction to it. Like, what the hell is all this? This is crazy. We thought our world was screwed up. We thought, we thought things were fucking crazy with the Klingons where we were from. What the fuck is this? So that is really cool to me. Now, this thing over here that says subscribe, you should probably listen to it. It's probably right now, it's either giving you an aneurysm and killed you, or you've enjoyed it. I don't know which one of the two you're on, but I really liked it. I liked the episode, and the funny thing about it is I'm still not fully into Star Trek Discovery 100%, and I know that because I still don't, like, there's people's names, like, I still don't know some of the names. Like, I'm Googling it right now because, oh, yes, I can see the names now. Okay, so Silvia Tilly is Mary Wiseman, right? She's the one that's, like, the bumbling ensign or cadet or whatever. I don't even know what her rank is because, again, I'm not paying that close attention to Discovery because I've been eye-rolling a lot of these episodes, kind of just going, oh, here we go with this and that. Now, what was it? Where do I want to start? Well, let's go into Tyler, right? Tyler's character, like, supposedly that Klingon, the white-faced Klingon that the female Klingon sends or whatever. The theory is, of course, the theory has been, based on even leaks in the casting, that she transferred his body or soul or something about him into Tyler's body. So it wasn't just torture. It was like she transferred, into him, transferred the Klingon into him, and I don't remember the Klingon's name now, and I don't even care to look it up, again, because I'm just doing this on a whim. I don't want to make this review long. If you want an in-depth, awesome review from somebody, you probably find somebody else. I'm just giving you my reaction to the show, kind of. I'm going to watch the episode again, and I'm probably going to watch a couple other things again, and then I'm probably going to do like a 1-hour podcast on this. I'll probably do a podcast on this, and I'll have examples and names, and I'll be able to give you guys the information you want. You're sitting there right now thinking like, it's this guy, it's that guy. Well, I don't remember right now because I just don't care. But the fact of the matter is, that's interesting, I guess. And is the doctor dead? He snapped his neck. They killed the fucking gay doctor. I can't believe it. I can't believe these people killed the gay doctor. It's almost like they were like, well, these, the right-wing people aren't watching the show, so let's kill the gay doctor. Maybe then they'll start watching. We'll kill the gay black doctor. No, but that was jarring. That was weird. It's weird because at first, you know what I mean? Because I'm hypersensitive right now because I don't like what Hollywood is doing. I don't care what your beliefs are, what you think out there. I've never thought this way before. I've always just watched movies and been ignorant. I've always just been like, whatever, it's a movie, I don't care. But I'm very clearly seeing the agenda of Hollywood to push women, females, non-white males especially, make the white males bad, make the males bad, even if they're not white, So the whole agenda thing is in my head a little bit, but I've tuned it out for the most part. Although Star Wars Last Jedi, I mean, if you find me a fucking competent man in that movie. I mean, Luke Skywalker obviously is probably the only one. Everybody else is messed up. But so I was a little bit annoyed with Hollywood, but the one place where I don't get annoyed is Star Trek, because Star Trek has always been just everybody working together. And there was a point in The Last Jedi when everyone was working together: aliens, white people, black people, white women, black women, colored women, Asian women, crazy, like everybody was working together, and I was like, damn, I got this warm feeling in my heart right now where everybody's working together. And I like that when it's done right and it's not shoved down my throat. But so I do like this show, and I mean, I do like this episode. And the thing is, I was just starting to really like the gay doctor, like the doctor. I was starting to like him. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm starting to really like this guy. This is a guy, I would want him to be my doctor. I was just thinking that in this episode. It's the weirdest thing, because the other episodes, you know, it takes a while for us to meet him, and then in this episode, I'm like, you know what? I'd like this guy to be my doctor. I mean, I don't want him to touch me, like, you know what I mean? I don't want him to kiss me in my pee-pee, but I mean, I would definitely let this guy be my doctor, even though he's gay. Which I've probably got friends that are like, what? Yeah, dude, I don't care. That guy could be my doctor. I like that guy. That's a good person. I like him. He could be my doctor. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, shit. What the fuck? And that was when they definitely showed, like, obviously Ash is speaking Klingon, so we know that something got transferred into him, because then the doctor confirms that, and you're like, get security or get somebody. Like, you're like, please, doctor, get security. I was thinking that, like, get the security before he does something weird. And then I was like, I knew he was going to do something. You know what I mean? Like, you felt like he was going to, like, Tyler was going to do something, and you're like, but I didn't think he was going to snap the doctor's neck right then. Like, that was insane to me. So that was wild. Michael Burnham is weird for me, because I grew up with a Michael Burnham. He was like one of my key friends as a under 9, well, I think like until I was 9 and moved out of the area I moved from. But I had a friend named Michael Burnham, so it's just weird every time I hear Michael Burnham and it's this girl. But which is just so annoying that they named her that. Like, I don't get that at all. It throws off everything. Her character is like a little bit better, but the one thing I'll say, because she's kind of the female lead of the whole show, you know, it's center of the stories around her, you know. The one thing I'll say about Star Trek now that Star Wars have come out, and I know we're not here to compare, but you know, in Star Wars, Rey is what do they call her? A Mary Sue, right? And you can call a guy a Mary Sue. But she just does everything right. Everything comes easy, and it's amazing. She does everything so right? But Michael Burnham's character is like flawed, like very flawed, but at the same time very smart and does do a lot right? So it's like somewhere in the middle. Like, her character is more interesting than the Star Wars character of Rey, because Star Wars Rey is just, I'm Superwoman, you know, and there's nothing else. She, you know, but Michael Burnham's character has failed from the beginning. And honestly, it failed so badly, I think they made her fail too much. At the beginning, I thought to myself, like, I literally hate this person. Like, I didn't come out thinking, like, oh, man, I feel horrible for her. Like, I wonder what's going to happen with her. I didn't feel horrible. I thought, what a stupid idiot Michael Burnham is. Like, that's what I thought. And so I do disagree still with how they've done a lot of things here, but whatever. I like this episode. And, so Jason Isaac's character, Lorca, is weird too, because like he's flawed too. He's a captain that seems good, but he's a little too focused on war, and he's like very harsh, and he's almost like sick. Like, he's almost got a little bit of a obsession here, and there's something dark going on with him in the back that you're waiting for that to come out. But then sometimes he's a great captain. You know, he's very strong. You'd want him leading you. But then there's other times you wouldn't want him leading you. And he's very not Star Trek-like. But then at times he is very Star Trek-like. It's very strange. Sometimes he's specifically by the book in these episodes and what he says and does. And remember the mission of this and that. But then sometimes he's just completely breaks the rules. And it makes him interesting, but he's all over the place. I don't know what Lorca's going to do. But he comes off in some episodes like you hate him. Like, you're like, okay, I hate Lorca. Or, man, Lorca's going to be really bad. Like, he's going to end up being a really bad guy. But in this episode, this was one of the episodes where you end up you like him. You're like, wow, he's really, you know, putting it all on the line for his crew and the right thing. He is doing the right thing. So you like him in this episode. It's very strange. It's also very strange that Michael Burnham, you know, has to kind of like betrays her captain, Michelle Yeoh. She betrays her, and that's what starts this whole thing. She questions the captain, and her captain was great. She was great. She was like a very stable, smart captain. But now she's underneath Lorca, who's not really, and like he is someone that you could see at some point being like, okay, we're having a mutiny because Lorca's gone crazy. You know what I mean? And it's funny because, like, will she ever do that again? Because she did that once and it really fucked everything up. But she may have to do that again at some point now. But how would that happen? And so it's weird. I know that's in the back of my mind too. There are all these interesting dynamics. Now, you can make a whole different review on Discovery and just pick it apart and destroy it and say it's terrible. By the way, I watched Mirror Darkly after this because I was so nerded out that I was like, I got to go watch Mirror Darkly and then I got to go watch the original series Mirror episode, and I'm gonna watch everything, just have it all up there. And they tie everything, like they don't tie everything in, but there's all these just Jesus, like the Defiant is there. They find the Defiant in Enterprise, and the original series was Spock and a Klingon, and can a Klingon be the Emperor? Who's gonna be the Emperor? You know, at the end of this is before the original series stuff happens, and it's after Hoshi Sato in Enterprise becomes the Empress, or declares herself the Empress, and then I guess has a long rule according to the lore. Who's going to be the Emperor now, or Empress now? And they said Emperor, so it's going to be an Emperor. Will they be of Asian descent? Will it be somebody from her family? Will it be somebody else from this time that we don't expect? Very interesting sort of stuff going on here. In a way, which is weird because I went into this episode thinking this is going to suck. Mary Wiseman playing Silvia, which I don't even remember her name until I just looked it up. Silvia, I don't remember. She was hilarious. I usually hate this character because I'm just like, oh, of course they made her a bumbling idiot, right? But it was really funny when she was on the bridge and they were like, you have to be the captain. You know, they're talking to us. Lorca's not the captain. You're the captain. You're supposed to be the captain. And I knew it, too. Like, the minute they said, well, first of all, she was on the bridge, which was weird. So you knew that something weird was going to happen because she's on the bridge. And then when they said, oh, who's the captain? Oh, Silvia's the captain, you know. And it was just really funny that because she played it hilarious. Like, she was like, what was she saying? They clicked over and communicating with the other ship. And she's like, huh? What the hell? Like, it was just, I don't know, like, that was hilarious to me. She played that so well, and then she might have played once she got into the outfit and had to play this kind of stone cold killer captain, I almost thought that that she played it too well. Then, that's not her fault. Because Silvia obviously was a good actor because she goes from, like, bumbling buffoon to has to communicate with the ship, and she's on the spot and nervous, and she's like extra bumbling buffoon, which she acted exactly like I would think that character or that person would act like in real life. Just like, oh, like just fucking it completely up, and it was hilarious. And I thought that was well acted, so well acted. And then it was amazing how well she acted as, you know, playing her role as the captain on the Discovery in the Mirror Universe. And it was like, wow. But that was too good. I felt like I felt like Silvia wouldn't have been able to pull that off that well. You know what I'm saying? Like, they make her like almost she's almost a retard at this point. But whatever. But anyway, the bottom line of that is that's the direction in the writing more than anything. Silvia is a great actress because I saw her play 3 different people: the bumbling buffoon, the super bumbling buffoon, you know, put on the spot, which was great, and then that confident captain with the serious face on. So she's got acting range. She really does have great acting range. Great job by her. Who else do we? Who else do we get to? Okay, Anthony Rapp is like, so he's like out the whole episode. He like pops open one point. He's like, the enemy's near, you know, and that was like your lead up or foreshadow to Tyler. Like, for some reason he knows that Tyler has the Klingon in him for whatever reason. And by the way, yeah, the doctor confirms that for us. So now we, you know, the rumors are true about that. And yeah, you know, it was just overall. Oh god, the episode started playing. Overall, I just love the episode. For Discovery, it was like one of the better episodes. There's a couple episodes that I liked. There's a lot of these episodes where you're just waiting till the next one, like, okay, what's going to happen next week now? And most of these episodes, I think, like, it's okay, but because it's Star Trek, it makes me angry. You know what I mean? Like, if this was like Space War or Space Battle or Space Show, I'd probably like it a lot more. But because it's Star Trek, that's hindering things for me sometimes. But because this episode tied in actual things that we know of in Star Trek, which is weird because it's tying in a alternate universe, a mirror universe, why do I keep doing this? It was exciting to see, but the weird thing is they're tying in a alternate universe that exists in the old episodes of Star Trek, the original series, TNG, and whatever else, and, you know, not TNG so much, but Enterprise. We've seen this in those shows, but it's an alternate universe that essentially doesn't really matter, right? It's a mirror universe that really doesn't matter. So it's weird because I'm excited that they're tying into the old shows, but not really, because they're tying into the old episodes, one-off episodes that didn't matter at all because they took place in a separate universe. So I don't know, just kind of weird, but it is fascinating to see them experiencing the mirror universe just like all of us. So very interesting. You know, the show starts off and Tyler's seeing he's trying to get the I forget what, the device out of the ship so that they can get all the information and figure out where the hell they are. Then he goes to see the Klingon that's locked up, and she's messing with him, and then that's when he starts speaking Klingon. You're like, oh damn, like they really are doing this. The alien, and I know I'm jumping around here all over the place. You know, and Tyler is going to be Michael Burnham's like bodyguard, and it's just like, well, that's going to end up in a nightmare, you know what I mean? Because this guy's, you know, he's alternate personalities are taking over all over the place. In this episode, you know, what's his name really didn't have Saru. Saru really didn't have anything to do in this episode that much. He really didn't. There wasn't much for him to do. He was just there in the background. And yeah, it was. I love the costume design. I love what they did with the costumes. They really kept it. It felt like it was. It felt like I could say, this is a mirror universe episode. You know, done. And you look at the other costumes. You know, this is a mirror episode. You know, it's perfect. You know, it's exactly. I can imagine. You know, you can make something look different, and I can still know that. Okay, that is a symbol, a Terran symbol, right? Or that is an outfit from the mirror universe. Even though the Captain Kirk one is like a sheet and all these things, you know, and they're more like body armor and everything looks better. You know, some people aren't, but my brain, I know a lot of people are fine with this too, but my brain easily just says, okay, I get it. It's a story. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, wow, they look so much better now than why in the original series, when it's 100 years later, does everything look, you know, 100 years later after Enterprise, why does everything look so much better? You know, why is it better in the past? You know, I can shut that part of my mind off and just think like, okay, it's the story. It doesn't matter. It's the symbolism that's there. As long as it's the symbolism of what is supposed to be represented in the story, I can overlook the visual inadequacies of the time, right? So that's not a problem. I'm amazed that I was able to just whip those words out with how ridiculously tired and stupid I feel right now. Yeah, Lorca bloodies himself. He goes over to the ship. We see him in one of those torture chambers that we've seen. That was so cool. The last time I saw one of those torture chamber electrocution things was Enterprise. Remember, they were developing it with Archer, and they were like, look, we've developed this new torture device that we're working on it right now. It's better than the old methods we had. And it was like and that's, you know, 100 years ago or whatever. So now they've got multiple ones, and they're everywhere, and they've like clearly perfected them even more, and they torture people with them. And it was like, holy crap, I remember that from Enterprise season 4. And so that was those tie-ins were cool. But once again, ultimately, this universe doesn't matter anyway. So, you know, they're cool tie-ins, but I don't know, it's kind of funny. I don't know, it's weird. It's like a Doctor Who tie-in in a way. I don't know. But yeah, it ends with you know, Tyler and Michael Burnham. They do it. They're doing it. So they managed to work in sex, sort of, a little bit. They didn't really get much to do, but They always get that in the mirror universe, right? We see the preview for next week. I see the back of an Andorian's head, and I was like, oh shit, the Andorians, I'm pumped up. But anyway, guys, I am so just done right now. The bottom line is I liked tonight's episode. I don't know what it means going forward. I haven't liked this series too much. And I really still wish that we could get the old style of Star Trek back. Like, if you could just warp this show a little bit into classic Trek, a little bit more into what TNG was, a little bit more into Enterprise, and a little bit more into what the Orville is, I would like this more. And I'm hoping that CBS, I really hope that they do this, but I hope that they do another Star Trek series, and I hope that they do one in the future. I hope that they do one 20 years after TNG. You know what I mean? So we can have cameos from Patrick Stewart and people like that. I would really love that to happen. I think everybody does. And keep it in the actual canon of the original timeline. That would be nice. I hope it happens. And then I can look back on Discovery with less hatred. I can say, well, yeah, Discovery was a little bit out there. And I just think the Klingons also look ridiculous. I think the Klingons look it's too much. Like, they just look dumb. I don't know why. I understand that the old Klingons looked a little too human, maybe. But even J.J. Abrams' Klingons in Star Trek, the one with Khan, which was terrible, but, you know, those Klingons even looked more like the Klingons than these Klingons. These Klingons look absurdly huge, like just way too big. But it's another thing I can overlook because, like I said, it's like, all right, I get it. Those are the Klingons. Okay, they look like that now. Back in the day, they had less makeup. And then back in the day in the TOS, they had even less makeup. And there's different houses and there's different Klingons. But in the TNG era, like, everybody looked the same. All the Klingons looked the exact same. So, I mean, you could say that multiple houses ended up killing themselves off, you know, and it only ended up being one area. I don't know. But whatever. I guess that's one thing that does hang me up a little bit. It's a little jarring to see the Klingons just look so crazy. They look like a different alien race. It doesn't seem quite like the Klingons. But be that as it may, I enjoyed this episode. If you're somebody who watched, you know, all the original series, like all of them, like TOS, TNG, Voyager, DS9, but especially, you know, I think especially the original series, Enterprise, and Deep Space Nine, I think all had mirror universe stuff in it. I don't think TNG had a mirror universe. They had the alternate timeline where the ships were at war, but they never really referenced, I don't think, it being that mirror universe. I don't think. I mean, the yesterday's Enterprise and stuff like that. But yeah, the two episodes that stuck out to me were the original series episode and the Enterprise episodes, which was a two-parter. And that really kind of brought this episode tonight in, like, all in a full kind of circle for me. And I appreciated that. I think that's what they did a cheap move here. But again, in the end, mirror universe means nothing really, so I don't know. We'll see what we got going forward. I'm babbling because I'm tired. What do you guys think of Star Trek Discovery so far? I'd given most of the previous episodes like a 5 out of 10. I think one episode I gave a 6 or 7. A couple episodes maybe a 6 or 7, and most of them got a 5 out of 10 for me. A couple got, one or two got a 4. And tonight, you know, this episode for me, just because of the tie-ins and stuff and the interest a little bit, I'd probably give tonight's episode a 6 or 7. And maybe I'd give it a 7. I really hadn't laughed at anything on this show yet, and you never really should be laughing a lot on Star Trek anyway, so that's good. But it was funny when Silvia got to try to be the captain at first and communicate. That part really, like, I laughed out loud, and I'm surprised I did because I was rolling my eyes right from the get-go, and then I laughed at it. So good job there. My name is Joe Cronin. You're either watching this on one of my multiple YouTube channels, Final Frontier News or Corrupted, or Shame on News. This is probably going to be on Corrupted or Final Frontier News. Hope you guys subscribe down below so you can hear all my other podcasts and videos and opinions that we do. And if you want to support me on Patreon, it's patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. And we'll see you next time, guys. Okay. Anytime you want to turn off, computer. I mean, we're just sitting here. I'm looking at the screen. I'm not going to edit this. So I'm going to sit here and talk. Long live Porthos.